Hey guys, welcome back to Beta Vanguards. It's that time of month where I can finally do videos again because school. Well, so today I will be bringing you a V Premium deck profile of my Isabelle deck. I recently built this deck. Uh, Finished it about yesterday because some of the parts, like I traded some of the parts, arrived yesterday. So Isabelle is one of those decks that I've started to enjoy because of the lottery mechanic. If you don't know, um, this is the playstyle of Great Nature where you mill yourself out. Honestly, that's literally what you do for this deck. You just mill yourself out. Um, Outside of that, I will get started with the deck profile. So, starting off with my grade threes, I run 3 copies of Sage Mentor of Black Liquor, Isabelle. So this is the second version of the Isabelle VR. We have the original version. I run it 2 in this deck. Its skill, so her skill is that if your opponent's Vanguard is greater, perform both of the effects of, uh, choose one of the effects. So basically, you choose 2 instead of 1. You perform both instead of picking which which skill you activate. Then its Vanguard Rearguard skill is when it's placed. Look at top 3 cards, then put it in the top of the deck in any order. Helps you arrange your deck to see what you can mill. So you can probably mill. So you don't mill your triggers. Usually that's what you used for. Then its Act skill, Counterblast 1. Choose one of your auto abilities with when placed, activate it. If your opponent's Vanguard is greater, all of your front row gets plus 10k. So just makes everyone a big beater. Basically gives you a free front trigger. It's very nice. I run 3 of her. So next for grade 3s, I run 2 copies of Isabelle. The older Isabelle, the Holy Great Sage of Black Shadows Isabelle. So this is your rearguard beater. So it has the Count on Vanguard. If your opponent's greater, you perform perform one of the effects. So basically, again, it's like it's like the new Isabelle, but it's well, it's really just the same old Isabelle. What am I talking about? So it skills when placed. So blast Vanguard Rearguard. So blast 1. Put the top card of your deck into the drop zone. Perform one of the effects below depending on the card's type. If it's normal unit, she gets plus 15k. If it's a trigger unit, return it to hand. So again, with Isabelle as your Vanguard, you are going to be performing both. She's a really good rearguard beater. That's why I really like her. I would run 3, but I think 2 is enough because you can recycle it with one of my other grade 3s. So I run 2 copies of Tester Fox. So Tester Fox's skill is when placed Vanguard or Rearguard Counterblast 1, put 2 cards from your drop to the bottom deck in any order, and it gets plus 5 until end of turn. If you put a normal unit and a trigger unit to the bottom deck, search your deck for up to 1 Illusion Scientist Researcher Fox and call it rear guard. So Researcher Fox is our big beater of the deck because the deck mills a lot. Then its skill is Blast 1, choose one of your rear guards and gets plus 10k. And at the end of turn, retire that unit. And if you retire Tester Fox or Researcher Fox, sorry, draw a card. So gives you draw and lets you recycle triggers. Sadly, with Isabelle's skill, you cannot target it because the wording is different. Because Tester Fox's wording is when this unit is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard. It's not what do you call this? It's not like with Isabelle because what Isabelle says is choose one of your when placed, and Tester Fox is when this unit is placed. So I'm not really sure if you can target it with the skill, but I'm pretty sure you can't. but you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So next for my grade 3s, I run 2 copies of Leopold. So I run 2 copies of Leopold because it's a good backup ride, or it's a good finisher ride um in the deck. Um so Leopold's skill, basically on Vanguard, if you have a grade 3 in Soul, the auto ability activates twice, so basically you mill 2 times. And then so it skills when it's placed, put the top card of your deck into your drop zone. Then depending on the card's type, you do a skill. If it's a normal unit, it gets plus. Call this. It gets. If it's a normal unit, you call up to 2 grade 2 or less to rear guard, shuffle deck, and if it's a trigger unit, it gets plus 15 and a crit. So basically, gets power. From my knowledge, you can't use the new Isabelle skill to target Leopold and activate the skill on the rear guard, but again, correct me if I'm wrong, but again, to my knowledge, you can't use it. So up next, I run 1 copy of Chat Noir. So I opted to run 1 copy of Chat Noir because the back row attack still is a lot. But because of how Chat Noir is that it retires the units that you gave the effect to, I would rather like I'd only see it used in very specific situations, because what I noticed with this deck is that you really can't rebuild board once it's gone. But its skill is once per turn when this unit attacks. Counterblast, draw a card, discard the top card of your deck, perform the opponent below, depending on the card type. If it's on Vanguard, perform both of the effects. So again, because of Isabelle's skill, whether it's a Vanguard or a Rear Guard, you do perform both effects. So it's normal unit effects, choose 2 Rear Guard, they get plus 5k until end of turn. At the end of turn, retire those units. Then trigger unit, if it's a trigger unit, choose up to one of your Rear Guards, and until end of turn, that unit can attack from the back row, gets plus 5, and retire that unit at the end of turn. So, as I said, attack, not really an attack stand, it gives you an extra attack. Right, and for my last grade 3, this is a tech card that I run 1 Leopold Reverse. So, the reason why I run the 1 of Leopold Reverse is that there have been matches where I first rode Leopold Reverse and I have a Leopold in hand. So I just lock the Leopold and then I generate 2 Axels, get all of the plus from Leopold, and then the next turn I just ride into Isabelle. And then at that point you have 3 markers, and if you have Shatnar in hand, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attacks in 1 turn, and you can really overwhelm your opponent. Or if you don't want to ride into Isabelle right away, you can just stay on Leopold as long as you have that grade, the other Leopold that you can lock with for its skill. So for people who don't know, his skill is lock a Leopold, then until end of turn, the card discarded get normal, trigger, and order type. So it's unlike Isabelle where you perform both. With Leopold Reverse, you choose which effect will activate. And then its skill is Act Vanguard Circle. Once per turn, counterblast 1. Discard the top card of your deck. Perform all of the following according to its card types in any order. If it's a normal unit, look at the top 5 cards. Choose up to 2 cards. Choose up to 2 units from among them. Call them to rear guard shuffle deck. Trigger unit. Leopold Reverse gets the con skill that all of your front row gets plus 5, and Leopold gets crit. Then order unit, you get an imaginary gift Axel. So this is what I was talking about, where you can kind of spam Axels in this deck before you ride into Isabelle. So you would have a more pronounced field to attack with. Next, I run for grade 2s 3 Binoculus Tiger. So Binoculus is here for its skill that when it attacks counterblast, when it attacks a Vanguard, counterblast 1, put the top card of your deck into your drop zone, and perform one of the effects below depending on that card type. if it's a normal unit, draw. If it's a trigger unit, choose one of your opponents, your guards, retire it, and choose three of your own units, and they get +5. So, he's mainly there for the +5, but again with Isabelle, you activate both effects, so that's really nice. Next for my grade 2s, I run. Whoops! I made an oopsie arranging the deck. Damn. I run 3 copies of Lovey-Dovey Deuter. So Deuter's skill is when placed, counterblast to 1, put the top card of your deck into your drop zone and perform the effects below depending on the card type. If it's a normal unit, call it to R. If it's a trigger unit, gets +15. So again, with Isabelle, both skills activate. So if it's a normal unit, you get a +1 to board. If it's a trigger unit, it becomes a 24k attacker, which is really nice. And on top of that, with Isabelle's skill, you can target him. So what do you call this? So you can use the skill again. So it becomes a 24k, 34k with Isabelle's skill. It becomes a really, really big beater. Next is I run 3 copies of Researcher Fox. So Researcher Fox is the Legion to Tester Fox, right? Well, back in the day. So Researcher Fox's skill, additional rear guard circle when your card is discarded from your deck. This it gets +5. So every time you mill, it gets +5. So it becomes bigger and bigger every time you mill. Then its other ability is when it's retired from R by an ability, counterblast 1. So you check for up to 1 card with the same card name as your Vanguard. Put it to hand shuffle your deck. So it helped you look for more right targets. So in Leopold Reverse, this is a really good card because it helps you get your rewrites to get more Excel markers. Even in this deck, it's very helpful, but I see it more useful in Leopold Reverse. So for my last grade 2s, I run 2 copies of Geograph Giant. Again, I just like running a lot more beaters. So Geograph is here because on an Axel 2, he's a 22k by himself. Usually with a +10, he's a 32, or with Leopold Reverse's +5, he's a 27. So he still hits numbers. So that's really the only reason he's here. So for my grade 1s, I run 3 copies of Scale Toucan. So Toucan skill is when placed from hand, so last 1, return 1 of my rear guards to hand. So it helps me for other mill skills that I want to use, or when I want to use Tester Fox or other or again other mill skills, helps me get them back to hand. Then its skill is when a card is milled, it gets +5, so it's a 13k attacker or 13k booster. And again, with all of the other skills, it can become higher. On an Axel, it's an 18. With Isabelle's skill, it's a 28. With the Leopold skill, it's a 23. So it just becomes a big beater. And also helps you recycle a lot of your on-place skills. Next, for Mini Belly. So Wraith Researcher, nothing really more to talk about it. So to get the additional effect, if you have during turn, if you have a unit on an additional rear guard, it gets +5. So 13k attacker, 13k booster, yada yada yada. Then last for my grade 1s is for Lemur. So Lemur's skill is when placed, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, mill the top card. If it's a normal unit, soul charge 1. If it's a trigger unit, counter charge 1. So again, with Isabelle, both activate. So helps you with your resources. So next, for grade 0s, I run the Jet Ink Fox because furry bait. Next, I run 4 draw PGs, pretty standard draw PGs. Next is, as of right now, I only have 1 crit. Like V triggers are very hard to find for some reason here in the Philippines. So I do want to convert my other triggers to crits. Like I have, as of right now, I'm running 7 fronts. Like I wanna get more crits, so probably I'm gonna drop 3 more fronts to run rainbow. But as of right now, since I really have nothing else to play with, I am on the 7 front 1 crit. But if I do get more crits, I will switch it to crits, because I do think that crits are better in this deck. Because this is unlike a pure Leopold reverse where what do you call this? You just need fronts, and fronts win games. With this, I still see the value in running crits. Then last but not least is for heal guards. So that's it for my Isabelle deck profile. I hope you guys liked it. If you do guys want, I do have enough parts to convert this into a Leopold deck. So if you guys want to see a Leopold deck profile, just comment if you want to see my take on the Leopold build. But as of right now, that's it. See you guys next time, and hope you like the video. Thank you.